everybody, my name is Dee from Yoga Bayside. This is going to be a short Pilates workout that will focus mainly on glutes, hamstrings and quads. It will be approximately about 10 minutes long. So we are going to start lying down on our back, and once you get down onto your back, just have your knees bent with your feet flat on the floor. Find a comfortable distance for your feet, so usually around about hip distance apart, just for this one. And your heels are going to be just slightly in front of your knees, so just have a sense of where your heels are. Arms just resting down by your side. When you're ready, on your inhale, you're going to slowly peel your spine up into bridge pose. And you don't need to push your pelvis too high, just think about a straight line from your knees to your hips and your shoulders. And then lower your hips halfway. And then lift and squeeze and contract your glutes at the top. Lower halfway, lift and squeeze at the top. Lower, lift and squeeze. Lower, lift and squeeze. And there's a pause at the top on that squeeze, that contraction. Lower halfway, lift and squeeze. Lower, lift and squeeze. Again, lower, lift and squeeze. One more just like that, lower, and then lift and squeeze and hold it for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing but faster. Lower, lift, lower, squeeze. Lower, squeeze, keep going, squeezing at the top, squeeze, and squeeze. We've got 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold it at the top, contract and squeeze those glutes for 5, 4, really push your feet into the 4, 3, 2, 1, and then gently roll your spine all the way back down. And now walk your feet to the edges of your mat. So your feet are wide, arms still down by your side. Don't let your knees drop in. Keep your knees kind of pointing in the same direction as your feet. On your inhale, slowly peel the spine up. Again, not pushing your pelvis super high, so you don't want to create a deep arch in your lower back. And then lower halfway. Lift and contract at the top without letting the knees drop in. Lower, lift and squeeze. You might feel a little bit more in your outer glutes. Lower, lift and squeeze. Lower, lift, pause at the top, contract. Lower, lift and pause, contract. Lower, lift and pause. Lower, lift and pause. Last one like that, lower, lift, contract and hold it. Keep contracting, keep pushing the feet down into the floor for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now keep your hips high, and we're just going to squeeze the inner thighs and knees towards each other. And then open wide again. Squeeze in just as much as you comfortably can, doesn't matter if they don't touch, and then open. Squeeze in, but have a sense of them hugging towards each other, and then open. Squeeze in, and open. The height of the pelvis doesn't change. In, and open. In, and open. Last 3, in, and open. Last 2, in and open. Last one, in and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open, and then gently roll your spine all the way down. And just let your arms fall a little bit wider, have a sway of your knees side to side. And then bring your knees back to center. We're going to keep the feet wide. On your inhale, peel up again. Last round, peel the spine up. Straight line from the knees to the hips and the shoulders.
and then lower halfway. Lift and squeeze your glutes. Now squeeze your legs together. Keep the legs together, lower the hips halfway. Open the knees, lift and squeeze. Legs together, lower the hips. Open the legs, lift and squeeze the glutes. Squeeze your legs together, lower halfway. Open knees, lift up, squeeze. Inner thighs together, lower halfway. Open the knees, lift and squeeze the glutes. We're nearly there. Squeeze the legs, lower halfway. Open wide, lift and squeeze. Squeeze the inner thighs together, lower halfway. Open the knees, and then lift and just squeeze your glutes for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then gently roll your spine all the way back down. Arms go wide as you gently sway your hips side to side, leg side to side. And then come back to the center. Walk the feet to hip distance. And then you're just going to slide your left leg straight. So the right knee is going to be bent at a comfortable angle. Your left toes are pointing straight up towards the ceiling, and your arms are down by your side. On your inhale, you're going to push into that right foot, and we're going to lift the hips and the left leg at the same time until the knees are just level, and as much as you can, pelvis stays level. And then with control, start to lower. Aim to get your foot and your hips down at the same time. So you kind of have to move the foot a little bit faster than the hips to get them to come down together. Push into the right foot to lift up. And then with control, lowering back down. 5 more on this side. Push down and lift. And then slowly lower. 4 more, lift. And slowly lower. 3 more, lift. Slowly lower. 2 more, lift. And lower. Last one, lift. And slowly lower all the way down. And then once you're down, just give your right knee a little squeeze to your chest. And then pop your right foot on the floor and slide that right leg straight. Bring your left knee in, bend the knee, so left foot flat on the floor. Right leg is straight with your toes pointing up. And then you're going to push now into your left foot and then lift your hips and your right leg. And then with control, just start to lower down. And then pressing to lift, aiming to keep your pelvis as level as you can, and then slowly lower. And you might find that one side feels a little bit harder than the other. So this is definitely my harder side, pressing down and lifting, and then slowly lowering. Good, 3 more, lift, and lower. I lied, it's 3 more from now. Lift, and lower with control, no flopping to the floor. 2 more, lift, and lower. And last one, lift, and lower all the way down, taking your time to get down. And then once you're down, your left knee comes to your chest for a little squeeze. And then slide your left leg straight. And so your legs are going to be straight. You're on the back of your heels. And then you're just going to put the smallest bend in the knee. So still the middle of the back of my heels is on the floor. And there's just a little bend in the knees. My arms are down by my side. And the back of my head is resting on the floor. And then you're going to push into your heels and lift your pelvis, hips off the floor. And then hold that. Maybe you float your arms up towards the ceiling. If it's a lot, you can use your arms for support by keeping your arms on the floor. If they're reaching up, just turn the palms in to face each other. And hold it. Squeeze the glutes. Make your glutes fire up as much as you can. Squeeze your legs for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then to come out, drop your arms first, and then just start to bend your knees slowly until your hips touch down, and then bring your knees into your chest. Have a little squeeze, a little gentle rock side to side. And then coming back to the center, hold the back of your legs and just rock forward and back a couple of times. So maybe 3 times, 2 more. And then last one. And then we're going to rock all the way up and come onto all fours. So your shoulders will be right above your wrists and your hips will be right above your knees. And to start, we're going to tuck the toes under and then just hover the knees about 1 inch off the floor. And there's a tendency to kind of let the head hang here. Instead of looking back, look slightly forward or straight down between your thumbs. Keep your belly nice and tight so that you're not kind of collapsing your belly to the floor. Shins are just parallel to the floor. And hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down, untuck your toes, and then come all the way up to stand on the knees. If you want to put some padding under there, under your knees, you can put like a folded blanket or a towel or something just to give your knees a bit of cushioning. And then we're taking the arms out in front. We're inhaling here, and then exhale, keeping the spine nice and long, lean back. And then take it forward. And then leaning back again, squeeze your glutes as you lean back, and then push the shins into the floor to help propel you forward. So squeezing the glutes and forward. 5 more for 5. And only go back as far as you comfortably can forward. 4 more, so you'll feel your quads start to burn pretty fast here. Forward with 3 more. Squeeze those glutes as you go back. Keep squeezing as you come forward. 2 more. Back. And forward. Now the last one, we're going to hold it back there for 5. So you might not go back quite as far. Hold and squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then take it forward. Drop your hands to the floor, and then either just come to sit or come into child's pose. So whatever you fancy there, just take a little rest. Let your breath settle. About 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, come back to all fours. We're going to be doing the same thing. We're going to be hovering the knees off the floor. If you want to take it another step, you can, instead of tucking the toes, have the top of the feet on the floor. So I find that it kind of really makes your abdominals fire up a little bit more. It's like your body thinks that it needs to protect the ankles. But if you find that it's too much on the ankles or it just feels a little bit weird on your feet, then keep the toes tucked under. Otherwise, knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders, and then we're hovering the knees. Hovering the shins, not dropping the head. Push the floor away for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees back down. Come back up onto the knees. Put padding under there again if you like. This time it's going to look a little bit different. So the last time we leaned back like this time we're going to sit back, moving the hips with the shoulders, and then coming back up and squeezing the glutes at the top. So when you're ready, arms out in front, and then sitting back. Keep the shoulders right above your hips, and you don't sit all the way back. I don't want you to touch your heels, and then come back up and squeeze. Take it back. Come up and squeeze. 5 more. Back. And squeeze at the top. 4 back. Squeeze at the top. 3 back. And squeeze.
2 back, and squeeze. Last one, we're going to hold it back there with the hips hovering above your heels for 5, 4, push your shins down, 3, 2, 1, come up and squeeze your glutes at the top, and then drop your hands to the floor, sit back, take a moment, breathe. So either sitting on the heels or cross-legged or child's pose, doesn't really matter, just as long as you're resting. Let your breath settle. And then when you're ready, we're going to come to sit. We're going to extend the legs straight out in front. And you can do this one of 2 ways. So if you feel like it's quite hard to just sit upright like this and maintain that length through your spine, then you can have your hands behind you for support. Otherwise, you're taking your arms wide, and then we're just going to lift the left leg off the floor and hover it there. Without leaning back if you can, keep your spine nice and long, and then lower the left. Lift the right, lower the right, lift the left, lower left, lift the right, and lower. Lift the left, and then cross it over the right. Come back to the center, and lower it down. Good job. Lift the right, cross it over, back to center, and lower. 4 more. Lift left, cross over. Try squeeze your inner thighs a little there, and then back to the center and lower. Lift right, cross and squeeze, back to center and lower. Last 2. Lift the left, cross over and squeeze, back to center and lower. Last one. Lift the right, cross over and squeeze, back to the center, lower the leg, release the arms and just bring your hands under your knees. Lift your knees so the soles of the feet come together, and then just gently fold forward. And don't do too much here. So you don't need to struggle to get really close to the floor. Just do what you comfortably can. Do less than you know you can. So it feels pretty easy, pretty relaxing. Take a few breaths there. And then begin to gently roll your spine all the way up. Feel free to repeat that sequence if you have time, or maybe if you've been doing this for quite a while, you can repeat the sequence and do it twice. Otherwise, I'll see you for another video for abdominals and arms maybe. You can check out my YouTube channel. Okay, thank you. Have a great day. Bye.